gonna walk them down with the truth, straight out of scripture. Many scholars, preachers, whatever you want to call them, when it comes to this passage, Psalms 83, they all say that this is a future prophecy when all these people gonna come against the land of Israel, modern day Israel today. But that is far from the truth. At the time this was written, this was a future prophecy of the temple being attacked. But let's read it. We're going to walk them down, and we're going to see what this Bible really got to say. Psalms 83, starting at verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They got one mind. They are confederate against thee. And here go the key players, the enemies of God and his chosen people. Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom. It's the number one. That's the leader. And the Ishmaelites of Moab and Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them, that they have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. Now I'm going to prove to you that this is not a future prophecy in today's time, but this is a prophecy that already happened. 2 Kings chapter 17. When the 10 tribes, the northern kingdom, was led away captive. Now remember, there's 12 tribes total, including Joseph's sons. They all included. But the northern kingdom was led away captive first into Assyria. Now when they was led away, none returned. 2 Kings 17 verse 18. Israel rejected by the Lord. Now you got to know how to identify when you're talking about the whole house of Israel, meaning the whole 12 tribes, the children of Israel, or Israel, the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes. This is the 10 tribes you're talking about. The southern kingdom, which we will get to, is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi mixed in. That's where the temple was, in Judea. So it say, therefore, verse 18, therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. You see that? Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drove Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he has said by all his servants the prophets. So Israel was carried away out of their own land to Assyria until this day. Let's keep going. Strangers inhabit Samaria. Verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. You see that? As the northern tribes was taken captive to Assyria, Assyria brought men, replacements from Babylon, to Samaria. You see the switcheroo there? None of the 10 tribes returned to Samaria. These replacements took over. And this is the beginning of the takeover of the Pharisees becoming the high priest, so forth and so forth. Just follow along. Now, after the northern kingdom went into captivity, was exiled into Assyria and replaced, shortly after, the southern kingdom went into Babylonian captivity. But unlike the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes, the southern kingdom was able to return. And that return is recorded in Ezra and Nehemiah. Now, Nehemiah is contemporary of Ezra and a cupbearer to the king of the Persian palace. It leads the third and last return to Jerusalem after the Babylonian exile. His concern for the welfare of Jerusalem and its inhabitants prompts him to take bold action. Granted permission to return to his homeland, Nehemiah challenges his countrymen to arise and rebuild the shattered wall of Jerusalem. In spite of opposition from without and abuse from within, the task is completed in only 52 days. A feat even the enemies of Israel must attribute to God's enabling. By contrast, the task of reviving and reforming the people of God within a rebuilt wall demands years of Nehemiah's godly life and leadership. The Hebrew for Nehemiah is Nehemiah, comfort Yahuwah, comfort of Yahuwah, not Yahweh. The book is named after its chief character, whose name appears in the opening verse. The combined book of Ezra and Nehemiah is given the Greek title Esdras Deuteron, second Esdras, in the Septuagint, a 3rd century BC Greek language translation of the Hebrew Old Testament. The Latin title of Nehemiah is Liber Secundus Esdras, second book of Ezra. Ezra was the first. At this point, it is considered a separate book from Ezra and is later called Libre Nehemiah, Book of Nehemiah. Now, with that foundation laid, we're going to get deeper into Esdras, because remember, there's some books that was hidden, that was taken out. The second book of Esdras. So if Ezra and Nehemiah is first Ezra, this will be first Ezra. Nehemiah will be second Ezra. And then what we have that was taken out first, what they consider first Ezra. See, we got first Ezra in there. The first Ezra will be third, and this book, second Ezra, will be fourth. Hope I didn't lose y'all. I say that because Messiah quoted in the 1611 King James Bible. Messiah quoted, it's in a margin note, 4th Ezra, which is this book, 2nd Ezra. So I want to show y'all this. So remember the Psalms 83 war, right? With the enemies of God conspiring to cut Israel off. And I showed y'all in 2 Kings chapter 17 where, they was replaced, blase. So now, with those replacements being there for over like 100 years, at this time of the return, their eyes are set on Jerusalem the whole time. The second temple has been destroyed. Now this is about to start the rebuilding of the second temple. So we're at Nehemiah chapter 4. The opposition to the wall. It said, but it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Yahudim. And he spake before his brethren in the army of Samaria, see that? Remember those replacements in Samaria? The 10 tribes are no longer in Samaria. Remember, it's those replacements, those Babylonian replacements, and all those other people that came in as replacements, and said, What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned? So they saying, is they gonna finish this? They think they finna rebuild this. Verse 3. Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, even that which they build, if a fox go up, he should even break down their stone wall. So they say, even if they do build it up, man, a fox can go up there and knock that wall over. Verse 4. Hear, O our God, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity, and cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. So Nehemiah said they was at it. They ain't stopped. Even though they had these opposers coming up against them, trying to hinder them, they kept going. Verse 7. The adversary's conspiracy. Remember Psalms 83? That future prophecy of the conspiracy of the nations conspiring together. Look at this. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, they were very wroth, and conspired, all of them together, to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. You see that? They coming from Samaria, seeing that the southern kingdom was back, and they building a wall, and it named all those names. Now you can look it up, look those names up and see who those people are, and it'll match up. It'll match up to the Psalms 83 conspiracy. Now, if you don't believe me, my Bible's so powerful, it got footnotes. If you look close, you see, let's see. My Bible have markers. So in verse 8, where it say, and conspire, all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. You see that A right there? It lets you know. Precept. Reference note. So we look for chapter 4, verse 8. And you see that A? It'll take you to Psalms 83, 3 and 5. Man. Now I'm gonna show y'all something in First Esdras over here, so you can see why these people who hindered those people hid this book. But before we get there, let's finish in Nehemiah, so we can see how powerful our people was. You know how about it they was. Verse 9, nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God, and set a watch against them day and night because of them. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversaries said, they shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease. And it came to pass that when the Yahudim which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, from all places whence ye shall return unto us, they will be upon you. Therefore set I in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places I even set the people after their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, Be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters and your wives in your houses. So he said, man, don't be scared of them. At these strapped, man, get strapped up. Don't be scared of them. Remember, God is with us. This is God doing. This is how deep this is, man. Look at your Bible. And it came to pass, verse 15, and it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and God had brought their counsel to naught, mean nothing, that we returned all of us to the wall, every one unto his work. Now in the book of 1 Ezra, the return to Jerusalem of the southern kingdom is recorded in detail. I mean detail. From the family on down. Now, here we see verse 37. It say, neither could they show their families nor their stock how they were of Israel. The sons of Deliah, the sons of Tobiah, the sons of Nekodah, 652. And of verse 38. And of the priests that usurped the office of priesthood and were not found, the sons of Abiah, the sons of Hakos, the sons of Yados, who married Agiah, one of the daughters of Barzillai, and was named after his name. And when the description of the kindred of these men were sought in a register and was not found, they were removed from executing the office of the priesthood. Look at the margin notes. Persian false priests pretending to be Aaronic families were attempting infiltration. Even then, likely Pharisees, Persians. Pharisees caught and removed, confer to Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. Can't make this up, baby. Verse 40. For unto them said Nehemiah and Atarius that they should not be partakers of the holy things, till there arose up an high priest clothed with doctrine and truth. Now I want to show y'all. Well, y'all see how they had their eyes on Jerusalem the whole time. The fake, the imposters. They tried to slide in, but got rejected. The records were searched. They said, man, look, you ain't part of us. That's how detailed that return was. And God left clues like this for us to read and for us to catch and see. That's why y'all heard these things. And I'm going to show y'all in Daniel where this was mentioned that it was going to happen. A prophecy. Watch this. I ain't going to miss you with this one. Daniel chapter 8. Daniel vision of the one world empire that was going to rule all the way until the end, until Messiah returned to destroy him. Oh yeah, I'll go into detail, but I want to show y'all. I remember I said they had their eyes on Jerusalem the whole time. So now Daniel prophecy is going to expose that. Daniel chapter 8. Let's see, we're going to start at verse 8. Remember, read the whole thing, but I want to point out key passages. Therefore, the heat goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and four came up, four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. So that's Alexander the Great. I said Daniel the Great. Alexander the Great. When he died, his kingdom was split into four. This is world history. You can look back and see. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great. Look at the directions. Daniel put it on a map for us. Look where they gonna come from. Toward the south. Come on. And toward the east. And toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself unto the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. So look where he came from. Remember, this is the final beast system, world government, Antichrist, that whole construct. This is the beginning of it. This is the prophecy, future prophecy that was going to come to pass by Daniel vision. And we watched it play out in history, and we still don't understand. We still can't see it. The Bible is the truth. Now I'm going to show y'all. Remember how we started this whole conversation about the imposters usurping or exiling the 10 tribes out of Samaria, right? And bringing in their replacements. Samaria, the 10 tribes never returned. Until this day, they still have not returned. I will show y'all that tomorrow. Or maybe tonight, we'll see. But now, look at Daniel again. Verse 9. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, waxed exceeding great, toward the south, toward the east, and towards the pleasant land. Let's see if it tell you what the pleasant land is down here. We looking for 8 and 9. 8 and 9. But I'm gonna tell you. Anyway, the pleasant land is Jerusalem. You gotta take my word for it. Look it up on your own time, and you will see. Now watch this. Remember, Jerusalem, I said it's Jerusalem, right? The pleasant land. So Jerusalem, put it on a map here. These Maccabees. See these Maccabees? Where they came from? The Maccabees, the Hasmoneans, the Pharisees, they all the same. They're all the same. Samaria is north of Jerusalem, right? That's the northern kingdom. This is the southern kingdom. Daniel said they headed south. See, the Maccabees come from Mudaim. Right here. This is in Dan. This is the northern kingdom territory. They headed south. So you go south, east, towards the pleasant land, Jerusalem. Can't make it up, baby. Y'all want more proof? All right. You go to the definition of Hasmoneans. It says, see Maccabees. Okay, we just read Maccabees. Now let's go look up Pharisees. Definition of Pharisees. Of the three prominent societies of Judaism, at the time of Christ, Pharisees, Sadducees, and Essenes, the Pharisees were by far the most influential. The origin of the most strict sect of the Jews is obscure. Yeah, right. We know exactly who y'all are, and y'all gonna admit it right here. But it is believed the organization came out of the Maccabean revolt. Look at the date. 165 BC. There was, however, a group of Jews resembling the Pharisees as far back as the Babylonian captivity. Oh, you think not? The Babylonian captivity? You think not? So we see that the Pharisees are the Maccabees, Hasmoneans, they all the same. In 165 BC, let's see what happened. Remember, Daniel said that this empire, this beast empire, that was going to be set up all the way to the end times, headed south, then east towards the pleasant land. Let's get back over here. What do you got? Okay. So, the Maccabees, Hasmonean Jewish family of Mudaim. Headed south, then east towards, okay. So how are they so-called Jewish? Remember, these are the Revelation 2 and 9 Jews. They don't even bear God's name. That's why they Jewish. They not Judah, they Jewish. They wish they was Judah. But they from Mudaim. And they led the revolt against Antiochus Epiphanes, king of Syria, and won freedom for the Jews. The family consisted of the father, Mattathias, I don't know, an aged priest, and his 5 sons, Johanan, Simon, Judas, Eleazar, and Jonathan. The name Maccabee was first given to Judas, perhaps because he inflicted Go to the next page. Sledgehammer blows against the Syrian armies, and later was also used for his brothers. Killed his own brothers. Notice these imposters want to use the name Judas Maccabees. Remember, anyway, the revolt began in 168 BC. Now look at this closely, y'all. The temple was recaptured and sacrifices were resumed in 165 BC. The cleansing of the temple and resumption of sacrifices have been celebrated annually ever since in a feast of dedication. The Maccabees served as both high priests and kings. The story of the Maccabees is told in 2 books of the Apocrypha, which is not scripture. This is the leaven of the Pharisees, trying to slide in a fake contrived story into the Bible, and they expose themselves. Remember, they say they came from Mudain. We see what Mudain is. We see, I hope y'all seeing it. It's like, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm up doing this Bible study, man. I just be trying to give y'all this truth. Remember, don't take my word for it. I ain't the best of teacher. But look, here's some water. Put a little ice in it and do your thing. These people are exposed. So, and remember, they said it was a revolt. That was no revolt. That was a war, all-out war and usurpation. They went to war with the real children of Israel, the southern kingdom, the temple priests, the Levite temple priests to be exact. Let me get that correct. The Levite temple priests. And they exiled them, to the wilderness. You know what John the Baptist was preaching and baptizing. You know where Messiah started his ministry at, which is called Bethabara in the Bible. The name of the place today is Qumran. The Muslim name, Qumran. You know, the place where the Dead Sea Scrolls was found. The place where John the Baptist library was found, bro. We got them. And they identified themselves. The Levite temple priests, they identified themselves over 100 times, telling you that we the sons of Zadok that was exiled into the wilderness. And they told you that we the children of light and we gonna go to war with the children of darkness. The sons of darkness. Look what I got highlighted here. This is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. It say the principal novelty provided by the manuscripts consists of cryptic allusions that the historical origins of the community launched by a priest called the Teacher of Righteousness, who was persecuted by a Jewish ruler, 165 BC, yes, designated as the wicked priest, yes. Remember those wicked priests that was trying to slide in the Ezra days that was exposed? Well, they finally got to do it. In 165 BC, they took over the temple. It say designated the wicked priest. The teacher and his followers were compelled to withdraw into the desert, where they awaited the impending manifestation of God's triumph over evil and darkness in the end of days, which had already begun. Oh, man. Man, I hope y'all get it. I hope y'all get it. I hope y'all understand. Boy. Remember that voice that was crying out in the wilderness? John the Baptist? He cried out. And it's still crying out. They can't hide this truth. I'm gonna wrap it up right here, boy. But I got so much. The next thing I want to show is how is this gonna all end. I hope my babbling is not all over the place. I be trying to simplify it, cause I just be want to go in, but I'm like, I don't want to lose them. So I be trying to simplify it to make it easy for y'all to understand in the simplest form. But if y'all want more, if y'all able to keep up and y'all want more, just keep watching, cause I ain't stopping till my time up.